All right, hi everybody. This is the beginning of day one of Hacktoberfest. We have Linda, Carly, and Jen with us today. And we are going to go over a couple of things. If you're unable to join us today, we're going to record this. First things first, we want you to register for Hacktoberfest. And this is the site. Oh, wait, I haven't screen shared. Am I screen sharing? I am now. I'm going to screen share now. Sorry, guys. Now I'm screen sharing. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we want you to register with hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com/register. I skipped a screen and I apologize, but the first screen will ask you to authorize your GitHub account to Hacktoberfest so they can count how many pull requests you have, which you have to do 4 to get your free t-shirt, and we're going to help you do this. So one of the things about Hacktoberfest, which is so fun, is you have the whole month of October, and today's the first day. That's where we want you to register, and you do 4 pull requests on any open source GitHub repo. So first thing is first, we're going to register. The first screen I already skipped, I apologize, and it will ask you to give authorization from your GitHub account to Hacktoberfest. So you'll accept, and then you pick your email and you pick what role you want to do. Participant, maintainer, whatnot. I'm going to do all these actually. And I'm in the United States, and you can get, you could check all these. Actually, probably don't. I have a lot of stuff I always get, but you read and understand and you start hacking. So after you are officially registered and it says, hey, look at you, you haven't done anything yet. And your progress is 0 out of 4 pull requests. So now this is where we come in. We have a couple different ways where you could get your full pull request. Day 1, we're going to have you do an exercise of adding your name to a file with your name and your duty station. That will not count towards your pull request, but it will give you the experience on how to do it. So I'm going to actually do a presentation real quick. We're going to give you at least, DigitalOcean has one example that you could follow, and we'll put in a link for the video for that one. And then we have a MilSpouse Coders scholarship repo. We have a MilSpouse Coders webpage for other resources. And we have a Halloween one. So we have at least 3 different repos that are open source that are very beginner friendly to help you guys get your pull request. But I'm going to go ahead and do this presentation here. And how to submit a pull request on GitHub. This is by DigitalOcean. This is one of the resources. Hi, I'm Toanne. Workshop goals. We're going to introduce you to collaborating on code via GitHub. Guide you through making a contribution to a code repo on GitHub or for Hacktoberfest and beyond. And we're going to share guidance on best practices in collaborating on open source projects. So the demo repo that they have is called Cloud Haiku, and you're going to build a haiku poem. And down here, I don't know if you can see this, I think my thing might be controlling. I have to move this over here. There's an actual link where you could click on it and you could add a haiku. Oops. Hold on, sorry. And all the materials covered in this workshop will be available in the video, and we'll post a video later too as well. So as a prerequisite, you'll be using Video Studio Code, and it's free. You can download it on your Mac or your Windows. Web browser in this workshop, you'll be showing as Google Chrome as a default browser. You can also download that for free, and a GitHub account. And that's how they track your pull requests, and you can sign up for free as well. Okay, let's get started. What is Hacktoberfest? And what is open source? So open source is a software that is freely available to use, redistribute, and modify. Projects that are open source encourages a transparent process that is advanced through distributed peer review. And there's a lot of different resources, and I think if you've ever tried to do open source, it's really overwhelming because you don't feel confident enough in your skills, or you're afraid that you're going to mess something up. And we'll tell you why you could do so many different things without messing things up code. So version control, this is what we're going to talk about. A version control system serves as saving program for code, where it assigns a version to a project and tracks changes made over time to each file in the project. So there's different ways you could do this. There's different programs, but we are going to stick to Git and GitHub. Git creates code repositories to help developers edit, share, and publish code for all. GitHub is a cloud-based Git repository hosting service that allows developers to take code that they've written on their local machine and share it to the world. So this is where it gets a little bit complicated, and people usually have a lot of questions at this point. So to get started, you're going to fork and you're going to clone a repo. Fork, you're going to take a copy of the repo to your account. So it's in the server in the cloud, and you want a copy of this code onto your local laptop or your desktop. That's what you're doing right now. You're clicking on this code, and it's going to give you a URL that you could copy. So first things first, you usually will fork it. I don't know if you can see it on this one. You cannot see it on the screen, but you'll fork it, and we'll go through over the steps too. You'll take a copy of the repo to your GitHub account, and then you're going to clone it to your local machine, and it usually will have an address right here. Then you read the instructions, and it says, okay, for this example, for DigitalOcean, they have Welcome to Cloud Haiku. And it's an open source repository that collects haiku poems, and they publish it to their website. So it says how to do it. And it says, due to the popularity of this repo, especially around Hacktoberfest, they only accept one haiku per user. So this will count towards your PR request for Hacktoberfest. You title it, you follow the instructions, so you read the information. 2, consider the code base. Make meaningful contributions. Usually what that means is that you're doing something to help benefit other people. This one is creating poems, which is nice and easy, but sometimes you're fixing code to actually do things. So you could pick a specific language that you like. This one is a really great beginner-friendly one, so we'll walk you through this one. So you're going to add content to the remote repository. So you're going to open and create a file. You'll write your poem. This person did this poem right here. Haikus are easy, but sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator. Haikus do not rhyme. It's 5, 7, 5 syllable steps. So after you create your haiku, you save it, git add. The dot means the whole directory. Git add myhaiku.md, whatever you named it. And it adds all the changes made to the repo across the file. You're going to make a message of what you did. So git commit -m stands for message, and quotations marks what you did. Added a haiku. And usually I would put added a whatever your haiku name poem is. Now you're going to push it. You're going to push your code up to the cloud. Submit your changes you made officially to be used in the code base. So if you can see right here, git push. So let's review what you did so far. You created a new file, you saved it, you add, you commit, you push. And now this is how you integrate what you've done at your local machine into someone else's master cloud file. You're going to create a pull request. So step 1, create a pull request. You're going to add your information of what you did. You're going to submit it. This one is a little bit different because it will automatically probably merge, but we'll see. And then you've submitted your pull request. The MilSpouse coders, pull requests, we have maintainers that will accept or deny, and they'll tell you if you've been denied, what you've done differently and what you need to do to make sure you get approved. So make sure you do 4 meaningful contributions to participate, and we have different repos that you could do that for. And here are some resources, and we'll actually send those links into our Facebook page as well. And if you have any questions, you could message us and we'll be more than happy to answer for you. And that is it. So that was our presentation for Hacktoberfest. So you've registered. You could use that one as a pull request. And now I'm going to pass it over to, which, are we doing the first duty station one? Yes, right?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do the first duty. I'm gonna have Carly or Jen cover this one because they created it. They did all the hard work for this one. And I'm gonna make them a co-host real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Maybe I'll make you a co-host.
All right, I gotta get all this a repo on my screen here. All right, it's Carly here, and I'm going to show you our contribution tutorial that we have on the MilSpouse Coder GitHub page. So this is right here, this is our MilSpouse Coders contribution tutorial. And the first thing you'll see is a bunch of files, but you want to scroll down to check out the README file. This will give you information about what the repository is, who it's geared toward, and then how to get started. This is just a tutorial. It's a teaching tool, and it's going to be similar to a lot of different things you see out there. It's similar to what Toann just went through and explained. So this tutorial was inspired by another tutorial that I saw, and I did personally. But I wanted to make this one specific to our MilSpouse Coder family. So we'll get started. Now, if you've never done this before and you wanted to walk through it, we've got a very specific setup file set up for you to go with. If your machine is already set up and you're mostly familiar with GitHub and Git, you can go directly to the contributing file for instructions on how to do to just contribute to this repo. So we'll go to the setup file and you can just click right there. So we've got there's a lot of detailed instructions here. Yes, it's a lot, but there's also some screenshots. We did our best to make sure that the information and instructions is clear. Because when you're new to Git and you're new to GitHub, it can be extremely overwhelming. I know it was for me, and sometimes I need things explained to me in multiple ways. So that's what we tried to do here. So it goes through, step 1 is basically telling you you're going to create a GitHub account. If you're going to contribute to open source, you're going to need a GitHub account. There's other places, repository, there's GitLab. I know Atlassian has a version control system too, but a majority of people are going to use GitHub. So the account's free, which is awesome. You'll create a handle, and then you're going to have your own your own site, more or less. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have you download Visual Studio Code. Now, if you have an IDE or text editor that you prefer to use, go ahead and use it. There's nothing wrong with that. We're going to recommend Visual Studio Code because a lot of us use it. It's free, and the best part is that it can be supported on different machines. So it's Mac, it's Windows, and it's Linux. So that's great too. There's a lot of different packages and support you can get on it, and they're continually updating it. So I used it in an internship, and they used it in their professional work environment on a daily basis. So we're recommending you download this, for those reasons. And 2, if you need help if we can all use one text editor IDE, then it makes it a lot easier because we can just repeat those instructions and we can walk through it with you. So next you're going to go to set up Git. Now, if you haven't set up Git before or used Git before, a lot of it's going to be done in terminal commands. Now, those were horrifying to me when I first started because I thought I was going to erase everything on my machine, destroy it. all those scary stories that you hear about using the terminal, but I promise you, you can do it because I did it. Toanne walked me through a lot of stuff, and now I can't live without it. So in here we have instructions on, and it's going to be a link to Code Academy on how to get Git installed on your machine. If you're not sure if you have it, you can just run this command right here in Terminal or the Windows command prompt, and it'll tell you if you have it. If you do have it, you'll get a response right back, and that's very simple. So if anybody has any questions about how to do that, we can definitely walk you through it. Hold your hand, and that's okay. After that, after you make sure you have your Git set up, you're going to make sure you have, you're going to open up Visual Studio Code, and you can use the integrated terminal within the IDE. It's great. It's so easy. You don't have to open up another command prompt or another terminal window. It's all right there. And this gives you information on how to get that open. Next, after you've done that, you're going to go to the MilSpouse coders. You're going to make sure you're back on the MilSpouse coder repository for this, this repo that we're doing, this one up here, and you're going to fork it. When you fork right here, you're just going to click the little fork button, and you're going to make sure it forks to your GitHub account. So you have a copy of this repository on your own personal GitHub account. That way you can edit it. So we're here. So you're going to fork it, and this gives you instructions on how to do that. And I apologize, we changed the name of the repository because we were getting spam requests, and to block that, we took Hacktoberfest out. So if you've already forked it before we did the name change, I apologize. We only did it because we were getting spammed by people from out of the country, like India and Brazil. So we had to fix things. So now that you've forked it on your machine, you're going to make sure you're on your repository, and you're going to click the green code button. And it's going to give you a pop-up window, and it's going to ask you you can do a copy, or you can highlight and copy and whatever, and you're going to get that URL. Now you're going to clone it. So that's how you're going to get the repository code that you forked on your own site to your personal machine. And this is going to be all the instructions on how to do that. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about, but I'll try to keep it simple. But that's the easiest way to describe it, is you're taking the code from the internet that you took from somebody else, and you're going to put it on your computer so you can edit it and play with it. It gives you, we've got in here the next step to make sure you've got your origin set and you set your branch. This will explain how to do that. If you need additional explanations on what origins are and what upstream is, we would be happy to explain it to you. Simply enough, the origin is your version of where it's located on your personal repo, and the upstream is the main repo where it originated from. So that would be the MilSpouse coder repo. So after you do all that, we got instructions, more. You're going to make your changes to the file, and all the information will get you there. You've got, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to modify the first duty station file. And in there, you're going to add, says instructions what the top of the file says. You're going to add your GitHub handle and your first duty station. That's it. Don't need cities, don't need countries, just the name of your first duty station, like Fort Bragg. Just put Fort Bragg. That's all you have to do. And the instructions are in there, and it's pretty clear. Then we're going to show you how to commit those changes, add those changes, commit those changes, and then get those changes back up to your GitHub account. So you got to move the changes on your machine to your personal GitHub account. So that's the step after the changes, from your machine to your GitHub. And then finally, the pull request. That's your submitting your changes for review. You're going to go to your personal GitHub. You're going to say, I've got a change that I want you to add to your repo, which is the main repo, and you're going to create a pull request. And hopefully, if all things are good, the maintainer will say, hey, that's a great pull request. That's a great change. I'm going to merge it into this main repository. So that's basically what that's all about. So those are more or less the instructions. We have a shorter version. Let me find it up here under step 2. If you want instructions on just how to commit with the command line, you can do that. It's a very shortened version. And also we have instructions on using GitHub Desktop, which is a downloadable program, and it's actually really easy to use. I use it on occasion. I go back and forth between command line and that. So we have those here, and the links are in there. Very simplified version of what I just discussed. So that's that. Tawann, can you think of anything else?
Nope, I think that looks good.
Okay, cool. After you've committed, done all that, and you feel like you know what you're doing, if you don't, please ask us. Anybody would be just post it in the Facebook page or in Slack, say, hey, can you help me through this? And we'll absolutely be able to help. We do have a couple other repos we can do. I did create, here it is, it's right up here, the MilSpouse Coder Scholarship Resources. This one will be really easy to contribute to because it is a repo that we can definitely use. I've been searching for myself because I need scholarships for grad school to help pay for it. But then what we're looking for are military, both military and non-military based scholarship programs. So you've got a table of contents here. Right now I only have 3 in here. If you have more, please add those in. You can clone this, fork it, clone it, and then make a change. But military scholarships, non-military scholarships, even conference scholarships, this is just one. But all that information would be great for us to have and to share with each other. So those are the 2 repos I wanted to talk about. I think Linda has one that would be great for another project.
Okay guys, you've got 2 different tutorials on how to do Git pull request. And so every week in the month of October, every Wednesday, we will have a session just like this, and we can help show you repos, we can help you do pull requests, we can answer any of your questions. And if you're working on a pull request, I think there's one that you can actually help build a web page. So if you actually want some feedback or questions about, should I do this? Can I do this? The best way to do it is just to submit it. Just do something. If you think it looks good, or if you want to develop something, just submit it. The worst thing that will happen is someone will say, no, thank you, but do this next time. That's all you do. That's the purpose of the feedback. And sometimes they'll be like, this is great. I didn't even think of this. This is such a fabulous feature. I'm just going to merge this and put it into our code base. And that's the great thing about pull requests, if you haven't figured out, that you could play with a version of a project, do whatever you want, submit it, and it doesn't ruin the main copy. And if they like it, they add that feature. And if they don't, they just say, thanks, but this is not what we're looking for. And you still have your version on your local machine. So that's a beautiful thing about it. Did we talk about branches? We did not talk about branches. So in the first example with DigitalOcean's pull request, they did not have you do a branch. They just had you create a file, save it, add, commit, push, and it just gets merged automatically because it's a separate file. With the MilSpouse Coders repo, since you are working in a collaborative code base, we want you to create a branch, and then you work on a feature that you want to add, which is your first duty station name. And when we get approved, okay, so this is the main branch, production branch, main branch, master branch. You create a branch, which is yours. Like this is mine, Tawann trans branch. I create a file, I add my name, I save it, I add, I commit, I add a commit message, I push. And then I do a pull request to the main branch saying, hey, I would like to add my file, my name, to the file that you have, to your master branch. Carly or Jen, which are the maintainers, or Linda, depending on the repo, will say, you followed the rules. Yes, now I will merge your changes into the master branch. That's the only main difference with the MilSpouse coders repo, is that you will have to create your branch first, do your changes, submit them, and then we get merged. I hope that makes sense. So if you have any more questions, next Wednesday, which the date is the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th, every Wednesday from this point on, we will meet and we'll help you with anything that you need help with. So thanks for joining us today. This video will be posted and you could ask any questions and we will comment and answer for you. So thanks for joining us and hope we see you next Wednesday, 10 o'clock Pacific, 12 Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Bye guys.